The door opened. 1967, a martial arts school in Los Angeles. Bruce Lee looked up from teaching and kept looking up and up. Standing in the doorway was the tallest man he'd ever seen, 7 feet 2 inches, NBA's unstoppable rookie, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Their eyes met, the giant and the dragon. Nobody knew they were witnessing the beginning of one of the most unlikely friendships in sports history. A friendship that would create cinema magic and end in heartbreak. Los Angeles. Bruce Lee's Chinatown Martial Arts School. Bruce was teaching Wing Chun, speed, precision, 27 years old, 5'7", 140 pounds. The door opened, a man ducked to fit through. 7 feet 2 inches, the Lakers' rookie sensation, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Back then, Lou Alcindor. Bruce walked toward him, stopped, tilted his head back. Bruce's head barely reached Kareem's chest. "I'm Lou Alcindor. I want to learn Kung Fu." "Why?" "Basketball is just a game. I want something real. Something that makes me better as a person." Bruce studied him. "Height means nothing here. In fact, it's a disadvantage. You'll have to completely relearn how your body moves." "I understand." "Do you? You're used to being the biggest in every room. I'm going to teach you to forget your size, to move like water." "Teach me." From the first technique, it was clear this wouldn't be easy. Kareem's long limbs were used to basketball's flowing movements. Bruce's techniques required tight, explosive motion. "Your stance is too wide. Narrow it." "Yes, I know it feels unstable. That's the point." Kareem tried, fell, tried again, stumbled. Other students watched, some snickering. After class, Kareem stayed. "Why didn't you go easy on me? Would you have respected me if I had?" "No." "Exactly. Respect is earned through honesty. Your height is a disadvantage here. Your fame means nothing. You're starting from zero. Can you accept that?" "I can." "Then come back tomorrow. Eventually we'll make your height an advantage. But first you have to forget you have it." Kareem came back. Every day. Before practice. After games. Late nights. Bruce met him privately. Other Lakers thought he was crazy, but Kareem kept coming. He'd found something basketball couldn't give. Discipline. Philosophy. A teacher who saw him as a student, not a celebrity, just a person trying to learn. 3 months in, they drank tea after class. "You're getting better," Bruce said, "but you're still thinking too much. You need to let go." "How?" "When you shoot your skyhook, do you think about every muscle?" "No, it's instinct. That's what we're building. Instinct so deep you don't think." Kareem absorbed this. "On the court, I'm always aware of my height. But here, I forget about it. For the first time, my height isn't the most important thing about me. That's why you'll be great. You're not learning to be better than others. You're learning to be better than yourself. That's the only competition that matters." Their friendship deepened. They talked philosophy, race, identity, fame. "People see you and think they know you," Kareem said. "The 7-foot basketball player. They don't see that I read Baldwin, that I'm interested in jazz, that I converted to Islam searching for truth. People see me and think they know me too," Bruce replied. "The Chinese kung fu guy, the sidekick. They don't see that I studied philosophy, that I'm bridging Eastern and Western thought. They just see the ethnicity. We're both trapped in bodies that define us before we can define ourselves." "Exactly. So we define ourselves through action, through excellence, through refusing to be what people expect." What started as student-teacher became brotherhood. But when Bruce called Kareem with a crazy movie idea, nobody could predict it would create cinema history. Kareem, NBA superstar, MVP, most dominant center in basketball. Bruce, global phenomenon, Asia's biggest action star. Phone rang in Kareem's Hong Kong hotel room. "Kareem, it's Bruce. I'm making a film, Game of Death. I want you to be the final boss." Kareem laughed. "Bruce, I'm not an actor. I don't need you to act. Be you. 7'2" of unstoppable force. I fight through levels of a pagoda. Each floor, different martial arts master. Building to you. We fight. No wires. No tricks. Real techniques at full speed. You want me to fight you for real? I want us to showcase what we've built. You've trained 5 years. You're a legitimate martial artist. Let's prove it." "When?" "Next month. Hong Kong. 2 weeks." "Kareem, I'm going to make you look like the most dangerous man on earth." Hong Kong, 1973. The pagoda set. Kareem stood at the top level, 7'2", yellow and black striped tracksuit, looking enormous. Bruce, iconic yellow jumpsuit prepared below. Director called action. Bruce entered. Camera captured his POV looking up at Kareem. Size difference staggering. They bowed, then began. Kareem used reach advantage, long kicks, sweeping arms. Each movement fluid, years of training evident. Bruce used speed and angles, darting close, low kicks, Rapid combinations. They'd choreographed basics but reacted authentically. Real kicks, real dodges, real strikes. Between takes, they helped each other. That combo was beautiful, but timing was slightly off. Your roundhouse kick, your telegraphing. Settle deeper first. The crew watched amazed. These weren't actors. These were martial artists, showcasing their arts. Final sequence. Bruce's jump spinning kick. Against Kareem's height. Incredibly dramatic. One take. Perfect. Both exhausted, drenched, grinning. That was incredible, Kareem said. We just showed the world something real. This footage, this is our legacy. People will watch this and see true martial arts, not movie magic. Reality. After filming, they sat overlooking Hong Kong's harbor. Thank you, Kareem said, for seeing me as more than the tall basketball player. Thank you for being a true student, for having humility despite fame. What happens when we go back? Will we lose this? Never. We're brothers now. That doesn't change. They didn't know those would be among their last moments together. The movie was never finished, because on July 20, 1973, Bruce Lee died, and Kareem's world shattered. July 20, 1973. Kareem at training camp. Preseason prep. Assistant coach approached. Kareem, call your agent. Urgent. Kareem, terrible news. Bruce Lee died this morning. Cerebral edema. They couldn't revive him. The phone slipped from Kareem's hand. Room spinning. Bruce Lee, dead. At 32. Impossible. The man who moved like water, who seemed indestructible, gone. Kareem walked to his room, locked the door, for the first time since childhood, cried. The funeral in Seattle was massive. Thousands. Media everywhere. But Kareem barely noticed. Steve McQueen, James Coburn, Dan Inosanto, Taki Kimura, pallbearers. Kareem's 7'2" frame towering as they carried the casket. Linda Lee approached. Bruce's widow, eyes red. He loved you. Did you know? He'd tell me. Kareem is special, not because he's famous, because he truly wants to be better. He asks the right questions. He's going to be a great man, not just a great basketball player. Kareem's voice broke. I never got to tell him what he meant to me. That he changed my life. That he saw me as a person when everyone else saw a commodity. He knew. Bruce always knew. Kareem returned to basketball, but something had changed. He'd lost the person who understood him best. In games, making a move, Bruce would have loved that footwork. Facing decisions, what would Bruce say? Months passed. Pain didn't lessen. One night, Kareem pulled out old training notes. Bruce's handwriting. Kareem, the goal isn't to be better than others. It's to be better than you were yesterday. Everyday growth. When you stop learning, you stop living. Don't ever stop. Bruce, he stared at those words. Don't ever stop. He hadn't trained since Bruce died. Too painful. Next morning, Kareem found a martial arts school. Started training again, not to replace Bruce, but to honor him. After class, the instructor approached. You're very good. Where did you train? With Bruce Lee. Eyes widened. The Bruce Lee. Yes, my teacher, my friend, my brother. Then you have a responsibility. To keep his teachings alive. Kareem nodded slowly. A responsibility. Kareem thought he'd carry that regret forever. But then Game of Death was finally released, and when he saw their fight scene, everything changed. Game of Death finally being released. Film incomplete when Bruce died. Studio added bizarre new footage with a different actor, but the original Bruce-Kareem fight that was authentic. Kareem sat in the theater. First public screening. He'd avoided watching for years. Too painful. Lights dimmed. Film played. Then came their scene. Bruce in yellow. Kareem in black and yellow stripes. The pagoda. Kareem watched himself fight his teacher, his friend, his brother. Every technique was a memory, every exchange a conversation, every movement proof of their bond. When Bruce's character defeated Kareem's, they'd filmed a moment not in the script. Bruce helping Kareem up. Small gesture of respect. In that moment on screen, 7'2" Kareem looked down at 5'7" Bruce with genuine love. Bruce looked up with equal affection. It was there, captured forever. The thing Kareem thought he'd never expressed properly. The respect, the gratitude, the brotherhood. All there on film, in how they moved together, how they challenged each other. Tears rolled down Kareem's face. He'd told Bruce, not with words, but with every technique learned, every hour trained. Their fight scene wasn't choreography. It was dialogue, now immortal. After screening, reporters swarmed. What was it like fighting Bruce Lee? I wasn't fighting him. We were dancing, conversing in the language of martial arts. That footage, that's real. No wires, no tricks, just two martial artists at their peak. The fight scene became legendary. Film students analyzed it. Martial artists studied it. But for Kareem, it was proof. Proof he'd been there. Proof they'd built something real. 1980s. Kareem's NBA career continued. 6 championships, 6 MVPs, all-time leading scorer. But he never forgot Bruce's teachings. Before games, he'd meditate using Bruce's techniques. During games, Wing Chun footwork. After games, practicing forms. Don't you get tired? Teammates asked. You're already the best. Bruce taught me that the moment you think you're the best is when you stop growing. There's always something to learn. 1989. Kareem retired.
Final game emotional, but afterward a reporter asked, "In your incredible career, 6 championships, 6 MVPs, all-time scoring record, what are you most proud of?" Kareem thought that Bruce Lee considered me his student. That's the honor I value most. Everything else is temporary. But what Bruce taught me about discipline, philosophy, approaching life with presence, that's permanent. That shaped who I became, not just as a player but as a man. Retirement could have been the end. Instead, it was just the beginning of how Kareem would preserve Bruce's legacy. 1990s, 2000s. Post-NBA career. Most retired athletes fade, do commercials, make appearances, live quietly. Not Kareem. He became an author, cultural critic, historian, and most importantly, a teacher of Bruce's philosophy. He wrote extensively about Bruce, not exploitively, reverently, preserving the teachings. In his book, he dedicated a chapter to Bruce. People ask who the most influential person in my life was. They expect me to say a coach, a family member. But the truth is, the person who changed me most was a 5'7" martial artist who refused to let me hide behind my height. He gave lectures at universities. Bruce Lee taught me that body and mind aren't separate. Every physical movement has philosophical foundation. When you punch, you're expressing intention, commitment, purpose. Young martial artists approached after speeches. Mr. Abdul-Jabbar, what was Bruce Lee's secret? He had no secret. He had discipline. He trained when tired. He studied when he could have rested. He questioned everything. The secret wasn't in his body. It was in his mind. Can we learn to be like him? You can learn what he taught, but you can't be him, and you shouldn't try. Bruce's whole philosophy was about being authentically yourself. He gave me tools, but I had to figure out how to use them in my life. In the 2000s, Kareem started a martial arts program for underprivileged youth. Free classes, using Bruce's teaching methods. "Why are you doing this?" a journalist asked. "You're a millionaire, a legend." Because Bruce saw potential in me when I was just a tall basketball player trying to find meaning. He gave me something that transcended sports. Now I have a responsibility to pass that on. One student reminded Kareem of himself. Tall, awkward, athletic, but lost. Kareem worked with him privately, the same way Bruce had worked with Kareem. "You're thinking too much," Kareem said, echoing Bruce. "Your body knows what to do. Let it flow." After class, the student asked, "How do you know all this?" "You're a basketball player." "I was a student first, of Bruce Lee. And everything I'm teaching you, that's him speaking through me. I'm just the vessel. I wish I could have met him. So do I, every day." But Bruce didn't die in 1973. Not really. Because his ideas live on. Every time I teach a technique he taught me, he's alive. Every time you use what I teach you, he's alive. That's true immortality. Ceremony honoring Bruce Lee's legacy. Kareem, now 68, stood before martial artists and fans. "I've lived a long life, had incredible successes, won championships, set records, met presidents. But when I die, I want to be remembered not just as a basketball player. I want to be remembered as someone who learned from Bruce Lee, who carried his torch." Bruce taught me that the ultimate goal isn't to be the best fighter. It's to be the best human. To grow constantly. To question constantly. To push beyond limitations constantly. People ask if I miss him. Every single day. But I don't mourn him anymore. Because he's not gone. He's in every technique I teach. Every philosophy I share. Every moment I tell someone, "Be water, my friend."
Bruce Lee isn't dead. He's just speaking through different voices now. And I'm honored to be one of those voices. Standing ovation. But Kareem wasn't thinking about them. He was thinking about a small school in Chinatown. Looking up at the giant who walked in, and seeing not a celebrity, but a student ready to learn. Kareem thought he understood Bruce's legacy. But in 2020, something would happen that would show him the full scope. 2020, world in crisis. Pandemic, social unrest, division, fear. Kareem, now 73, watched the news. Protesters in streets, people scared, angry, lost. He thought about Bruce, about conversations they'd had about race, identity, responsibility. Kareem wrote an article about Bruce Lee's philosophy applied to modern crisis. "Bruce taught me that water is the most powerful element not because it's hard but because it's adaptable. When you try to grasp water, it slips through your fingers. When you try to break it, it flows around. That's what we need now. Not rigidity, not force, adaptation, flexibility, flow." The article went viral. Millions of shares. A young activist wrote, "I never understood Bruce Lee, but your article made me realize his philosophy isn't about fighting, it's about surviving, thriving, being strong enough to bend instead of break. Thank you." Kareem realized something profound. Bruce's teachings weren't just for martial artists. They were for everyone facing obstacles, everyone searching for meaning, everyone trying to find their path. He started a podcast, Becoming Water, Lessons from Bruce Lee. Each episode explored Bruce's principles applied to modern life. Episode on Absorb What Is Useful, filtering information in the social media age. Episode on Reject What Is Useless, letting go of toxic relationships. Episode on Add What Is Specifically Your Own, authentic self-expression in a conformist society. The podcast reached millions. People who'd never seen a Bruce Lee film, never practiced martial arts, but who needed the philosophy. One listener wrote, "I'm a single mother working 3 jobs. I've never thrown a punch, but Bruce Lee's philosophy, explained by you, has changed how I approach each day. When obstacles come, I don't fight them head on, I flow around them. Be water. It saved my sanity." Kareem read that message and cried, because he understood. Bruce's legacy wasn't the movies, wasn't the fight scenes, wasn't even the martial arts. It was the philosophy of adaptation, of growth, of authentic self-expression, of refusing to be trapped by expectations, of constantly evolving. And Kareem had helped carry that legacy forward. From a 7'2" basketball player who walked into a martial arts school in 1967, to a 73-year-old teacher sharing wisdom with modern seekers. 2023, Kareem was asked to write a foreword for a new Bruce Lee biography. He wrote, "I met Bruce Lee when I was 20. I was already famous, successful, at the top of my sport, but I was also lost. I didn't know who I was beyond the tall basketball player. Bruce saw that, and he gave me the tools to discover my authentic self. For 5 years we trained together, laughed together, philosophized together, built a brotherhood that transcended our physical differences. And when he died at 32, I thought I'd lost everything. But I was wrong, because Bruce didn't die. His body failed, but his ideas, his revolutionary approach to martial arts, his philosophy of constant adaptation, his belief that we should all be authentically ourselves, those didn't die. They're immortal. Today, 50 years after his death, Bruce Lee is more relevant than ever, not because of his movies, because of his message. Be water. Adapt, flow, grow, never stop learning, never stop evolving, never accept limitations. I'm 76 years old. My basketball career is ancient history. My body has slowed, but my mind is sharper, my understanding deeper, my commitment to growth unwavering. That's Bruce's gift to me, and through me to everyone I teach. He didn't just make me a better martial artist, he made me a better human. People ask what I'm most proud of in my life. 6 championships? Sure. All-time scoring record? Absolutely. Hall of Fame career? Of course. But my proudest achievement? That Bruce Lee chose me as his student, that he trusted me with his teachings, that he saw potential in the awkward 7'2" kid who walked into his school and transformed me into someone worthy of carrying his legacy forward. I miss him, every day, but I don't mourn him, because every time I teach someone to be water, Bruce speaks. Every time I help someone discover their authentic self, Bruce guides them. Every time I refuse to accept limitations, Bruce smiles. He's not gone, he's here, in everyone who refuses to be trapped by others' expectations, in everyone who adapts and flows and grows, in everyone who chooses to be authentically themselves. Bruce Lee is immortal, not because he was perfect, but because he was real, and he taught us to be real too. Thank you, my friend. Thank you, my teacher. Thank you, my brother. I'll keep being water, for both of us. White text on black. Bruce Lee and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar trained together from 1967. Their friendship transcended sports and cinema. Their fight scene in Game of Death remains one of the most authentic martial arts sequences ever filmed. Bruce Lee died July 20 as he read 20 Kareem was a pallbearer at his funeral. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar became the NBA's all-time leading scorer, won 6 championships and 6 MVPs, and was inducted into the Hall of Fame. Today, at 76 years old, Kareem still teaches Bruce Lee's philosophy through writing, speaking, and martial arts programs for youth. Their legacy proves that the greatest friendships transcend physical differences and that true teaching never dies. It multiplies through those who carry it forward. Final image, photo of Bruce and Kareem training together, 1970. Bruce demonstrating technique, Kareem listening intently. The Giant and the Dragon, teacher and student, brothers. Voiceover, Bruce Lee's actual voice. A teacher is never a giver of truth. He is a guide, a pointer to the truth that each student must find for himself. Be water.